I think, Erin, I think we're on. I think we are on the Facebook.
Okay, I'm probably going to keep Facebook off, or do you want me to put it back on?
You can keep it off, and then I can just like relay
Questions and stuff.
Yeah, so I think we're live. So hello, everybody, in Facebook. I sound like Mrs. Doubtfire just then. Hello. Hi, Christina. Christina's here with us in the comments, and I got to get Erin back on my screen over here. There's Erin. So, okay, we got people coming right on, and Brenda saying hello. So, everybody, y'all know me. And oh, Ellie's watching us while she's having her dinner. She's always, quite ahead of us time-wise. And lots of people here. So, hello, everybody. You know me. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and I'm here with my friend, master herbalist and witchy woman extraordinaire, Erin of Full Circle Herbals. So some of you that are watching know Erin and are even in some of Erin's classes and things, and some of you don't know Erin. So Erin, do you want to really quickly introduce yourself and tell us, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Erin LaFave, plant priestess, herbalist with Full Circle Herbals, and briefly, what do you want to know about? I've been studying plants forever. It seems like I can't think of a time where I wasn't. And then I did a master herbalism program a couple years ago to kind of formalize all the things that I have been learning. I have a master's degree in environmental studies and a bachelor's degree in geography with an emphasis in natural resource management. So I have an environmental studies background as well as a botany and horticulture background. I was a horticulture educator with our university extension system for almost 10 years. And now I stay at home with my kids, and they're going back to school soon. One of them was homeschooled for a little while, and she's bravely decided to go back and try it out again. So I don't know what the next, tomorrow may be all by myself. Must be awesome.
Tomorrow, Erin will be like napping on the sofa.
I'll probably have a to-do list, and I'll just be like doing 5 things at once, trying to get it all done.
Yeah, I know. The nap will be next week when everything's settled. So yeah, so many people are saying hello. What I love about Erin, because there's a million herbalists, right? And what I love about Erin is that you have the science background and you have the knowledge about all of the natural, metaphysical, witchy women stuff. And you're super authentic and down to earth and real. And so you're really practical. You don't try to force one opinion on anybody or anything like that. Must be all natural, must be whatever. You're very real and practical, like I said, which is super cool. So all these people are just saying hello to us. So what I brought Erin here for today was talk to us a little bit about herbalism in general and why we might want to learn herbalism. So I posted a few videos last week about what not to do learning herbalism and the importance of it. One of the things that I talked about in the video was not just going on Pinterest and pinning all these things as your method of learning herbalism. So Erin, when you first started learning herbalism, really learning herbs and their medicinal properties and their metaphysical properties, did you at what point were you like, oh, this is a really good method, or this is not the way to learn, or I'm just looking at things but not absorbing anything? How did you actually learn herbalism?
Ooh, that's a big question. But I would say I'm going to start with the how to trust which source you had. And that was really a big problem for me, because when I started, in my teenage years, it was no internet. So that Pinterest was not a problem for me.
Yeah.
But I still didn't know which author to trust, or who, what did they learn it from a book, and they learned it from a book, but who knows what's going on here. And so it took many years of just reading books and seeing who was really prominent and out there and doing things often, and learning what their background was, and learning what teachers that they had. And then I started to meet people face to face, actually, and that really helped me understand who is really somebody I want to listen to. because there's certainly lots of information going on out there. So Rosemary Gladstar, who I've been able to meet, and I'm in one of her courses because there's always something for me to learn. There's like 100 million things to learn. But one of her rules of thumb is find 3 sources before like you ingest something. So try to find a book, a website, and maybe a workshop that you've went to, or a one that you could go to, and just, you know, kind of make sure that they all correlate pretty good. If all that information isn't correlating, then keep going into your references and resources and seeing where some commonalities lie. And I can give a few authors out there with books and websites that I trust a lot. And so Rosemary Gladstar and Michael Tierra, and Matthew Wood for sure. I mean, there's many more, but there's 3 kind of top ones that I like to go to.
Yeah, what I like about what you just pointed out in terms of learning herbalism is going to the different sources and seeing where it's coming from. And this is like my Pinterest thing, why I'm harping on Pinterest, is that people ask in our group a lot of questions like, do you have a tea recipe, or do you have like a this or that? And a lot of times somebody will screenshot like a Pinterest post or something and share it, which is like all well and good. But, you know, if it's like somebody's like, oh, use this herb and this herb plus this essential oil and like this, like whatever, I don't even know. But if it could be something that doesn't work well together, or could actually make you sick if you don't have the right amounts of the herb, or you ingest too much of it. And so I'm always like, wait a second, like, well, let's not just screenshot the Pinterest post and share it, because you never know. Which is why I think it's so important to actually learn herbalism rather than just be like, oh, I'm gonna like pin all the recipes and then spend a Friday night like making random things. Which you helped me out a lot recently. You recommended I use a blue vervain tincture, but you warned me in advance that it could, like, too much of it could make you vomit. So thank God you said that, because I got it and I was like really careful and only used a little bit, and I still wanted to vomit.
Oh.
I was like, this is the worst. But had you not warned me, like, who knows what I would have done, because I was so desperate for relief, you know. It's like, oh, give me all of this. So good thing.
Yeah, because people think like, oh, it's a plant, it's an herb. If the suggested dose is like 1 to 2 drop or 10 drops, why can't I do 30? And really, there is like this saying the poison is in the dose, and really that's true, because if you take a little bit of something, it can be very therapeutic or beneficial. But if you take a lot of it, it can actually, you know, make you throw up, because in some instances people need to throw something up, and there are herbs for that too, but you know, it's not very therapeutic when you don't need to do that.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of learning herbalism, is there like, do you have like a suggested, you know, something somebody can do today? So you said like when you are looking for an herb, to find 3 sources, right? Or like find 3 people that back up that same, use this herb for this thing. But that was my daughter earlier. I was trying to record a video and she was like, I'm like, stop. But do you have something that's a suggestion for somebody today that they can do right away to work on learning both the medicinal and metaphysical properties of herbs? Like, what if they're totally new and they're really interested though? Like, what do you think they should get off of here and go do? Which is also really large.
Hold on, I got it. What is it? How old are you? You're 5. He's always the one that interrupts me. It's like I'm a magnet. Oh, I'm on a computer and a camera.
I hear you. I had to hire a babysitter. Even though like we're 2 parents home all the time, just to like be a bodyguard.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
okay. So what people can do, I mean, most of the stuff you're gonna find in like the grocery stores in bagged tea. That's like a really good bet, especially you know, like chamomile, lemon balm, ginger, that kind of stuff. And then there's I'm just looking at my titles above me here. There's one by Rosemary Gladstar that's called Herbal Recipes for Vibrant Health. That one's a really good book too. So those are really good, like beginner kind of tips. You know, stay with the tea. Get a book like Rosemary's that's just like, you know, written for people who want to like put it into their lives, but not necessarily be an herbalist. So.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit, what it means to be an herbalist?
Oh gosh, I was just having this conversation with somebody today, and so it's kind of a nebulous term, especially in different states, because different states have different laws that govern complementary alternative medicine. So, you know, massage therapy, it's kind of the same way in different states. There's certain certifications that you can get, like peer-reviewed kind of stuff going on. And herbalism is kind of like that too. So there's the only governing like body is the American Herbalist Guild, and you can get their certification where you see AHG behind somebody's name. And that just means there's been a peer-reviewed process where people on their board have gone over your criteria and looked over your paperwork and either said yes or no, you can have our certification. But other than that, basically, and many states like Wisconsin, I can't diagnose, treat, cure, or prescribe anything. It's all educational focused. So a lot of herbs and herbal companies keep things real nebulous and have terms like sinus minus, and they'll never say, hey, this cures something. So I don't know if that helps anybody, but you have to know the person that you're getting the information from. You know, it's very important to like interview if you're gonna ask somebody who says they're an herbalist, like to help with a consultation. You're gonna want to get to know them and just be able to feel good about what they're saying.
Yeah. That and Joe, I want to remind everybody, if you have questions or want to know anything in particular from Erin, like, you know, about you know, I don't know, whatever, shoot them our way and I'll ask her and we'll see if we can answer them. But a friend of mine, she isn't even an herbalist, but she had a store. I live in a town called Guilford, and she had a store called Guilford Apothecary, and she sold mostly things she bought wholesale, like essential oils and stuff and whatever. But anyway, the state made her change the name of the store recently, even though she wasn't like she didn't even make stuff or whatever, but she had to change the name because she couldn't use the word apothecary in the name of her store. So
yeah, that's too bad.
yeah, it was a cool name.
Yeah. But things like that happen all the time, even to the big name herbal companies. If they're making tinctures and all that kind of stuff, they are like bending over backwards constantly. That's why there's a lot of people who just have like herbal products that are just skin, you know, external use. That stuff is less regulated because you're not putting it in your mouth. Okay. But anything that goes in the mouth, I just know a lot of people who are like under the radar making herbal remedies, and it's all word of mouth, and they don't want to get any bigger because then they have to do all this like FDA regulation stuff, and it's just, the hoops are endless.
Yeah, for sure. So what is the biggest way that you use herbs in your life? Like, what's the most, I think I know the answer, but like
oh gosh, well, daily it's probably me just definitely teas, and then just growing things around me and keeping their like essence around me is another thing. And then I have a ton of dried herbs in my house that I'm just kind of like looking at and playing with because that's how I learn. So those are probably the biggest things. I really think that more people need to get teas, any natural kind of products on their skin, culinary uses, like getting those parsley and oregano and all those kind of spices into our diet a lot more, because even just cooking with them, you can get a lot of benefit out of them just in that way.
Yeah. So you also are a, well, I believe you go by like the overarching term of nature spiritualist, and like put yourself in that box if you had to put yourself in a box.
Yep.
So how does your herbalism practice and learning herbalism lend itself to your like magical, witchy, woo-woo nature spiritualist life also? Like how has it made you more magical?
Well, I used to get really bent out of shape about staying to the science of it because I wanted to prove to people that plants actually worked. And I realized that was just like beating my head against a brick wall. So I just stay focused to what it was about plants that I really gravitate towards, and it's really their essence and their energy. And so I just started to, talk more and more about that. And that's why I started to use the term plant priestess, because I want to make plants a sacred part of our lives, and for people to honor plants and not just think that there's something that needs to be cut down at any given moment because they look too messy or whatever. Like there's a really important place for plants in our lives, and I wanted to bring that out. So when I'm like doing any equinox or solstice or any kind of celebration, I'm always focused on what's happening with the plants and then reflecting that into my life.
Yeah. And I love that you share that stuff too, like on your Facebook page. And sometimes I'll see you do like impromptu live videos, or you're outside with like the plants around you and you're just like pointing out the different pieces and the parts and how to identify it. And I'm always like, I want to be Erin. Like, I see one plant and I'm like, it looks just like the other one. I'm not really sure what's happening here. So I totally envy that skill that you have. What are like your top 3? And remember, everybody, ask questions if you got them. I don't know if there's questions coming through and I'm just not seeing them in my questions froze, because usually people ask questions. And I'm trying to like go on my Facebook page too and see if I can refresh them. But what are like top 3 herbs that you think people should get to know?
Top 3 herbs. I'm just looking at your chat right now too to see if I can see questions. I don't see any right now. So top 3 herbs. I'm always harping about nettle. I'm pretty sure I'm like, people probably are stopped listening to me because I always talk about nettle. I love nettle tea, nettle infusion, nettle tincture. It's just it's got so many minerals and vitamins in it. It's better than spinach, and it has antihistamine qualities. It can help with the blood. Build up the blood because it's got like iron and all sorts of things in it. So that's number 1, I would think. And then lemon balm is just so gentle but effective for calming. And I feel like I get more out of lemon balm just by smelling it when it's fresh than by drinking it. So that's kind of an interesting one that I like to have around me fresh if possible. And then number 3, well,
you're on the spot.
Well, there's so many, right? There's so many. Astragalus is kind of a new favorite of mine. Astragalus is a root. It doesn't grow in well, it does, but not the species that is used anyway.
See, there you go. I'm like, I want to be Erin.
So astragalus is really good for people who are kind of been sick for a long time or been really stressed for a long time. It's called an adaptogen. And so it kind of helps bring that vitality back. I like it in tincture form. It tastes like a root. So just be forewarned. I put a dropper in a little shot glass, put some juice in it and just take it really fast. But within a week, you'll just notice this your energy's kind of back a little bit. And for me, this weird thing happens when I take astragalus. I get really, when I taste things, they just taste amazing. Like it's like an orgasmic experience. One time I was eating broccoli. I was just like, this is the best broccoli in the world. It's like, holy crap, what is wrong with me? It was just so amazing. But I've never heard anybody else say that astragalus is like that. Even when I saw Matthew Wood in person, I asked him in front of people, I'm like, have you ever noticed when you take astragalus, like food is just amazing? He's like, never heard of it. I'm like, well, just know someday when you write your new book, right?
That's so funny. This is why I love you. Because you're the best. All right, so we do have some questions coming through. So Chantel's asking, what is a tincture?
Oh, a tincture, yeah. See, these things, I'm so glad people ask questions because I'm just like, oh, everybody's heard me talk about this 1,000 times. But no, it's just that I hear myself say it 1,000 times. So a tincture is usually made with alcohol and like 100 proof usually. And so you take like dried or fresh plant material and then it's soaked in the alcohol for like 4 to 6 weeks, and it draws out all the plant material, the constituents we call it, like the chemicals and everything. And it pulls it out into the alcohol, and then you strain out all the herbs and you just have this alcohol, and it's very concentrated. It's, really good for people who don't want to sit there and drink 3 cups of tea a day of the same thing. Or if something tastes really bad, you don't want to drink cups of it. You just want to take a big shot of it. And also alcohol and vinegar and vegetable glycerin are other things that are used to pull the plant stuff out and make tinctures. Because these substances pull out plant chemicals that maybe water can't do. So not everything is soluble in water or alcohol or whatever. So you have to use different things to pull it out. So that's why alcohol is commonly used. It's a great preservative as well. But for people who don't like alcohol, who maybe are sensitive to alcohol, maybe they've been on, sober for many years and don't want to take it, then there's things like vegetable glycerin and vinegar, some of these other things that tinctures can be made from.
Can I just tell you that blue vervain that you got me on, which I think is like really good and all, but it is so, and I tried the like shot glass thing. I don't know. It's so bad. There was this one time in college where I drank way too much Jägermeister. Is that what it's called? And like, I still can't even smell that. And that's the memory it brings. I'm like, this is wretched, but I think it's working because I feel less like I want to punch a person when I take it. And that's what you recommended it for. You were like, Sarah, if you want to punch someone in the throat, use this. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Alicia said that she found a recipe for nettle soup and wants to know if you know if that's a real thing.
Oh, totally. Yeah. As long as you cook nettle or dry nettle, that sting material in there goes away. Like it's either deactivated or it's just diluted so much in water it doesn't bother you. So the stuff that makes it feel stingy on your skin, there's these little hairs on the plant that you can actually see if you look up close, and they're filled with this urushiol it's called. And it's like a substance in there, and as soon as that hair pokes your skin, it releases it, and then you have that itchy response. And it's basically the plant's way of keeping animals and humans away to say, hey, this, if you come near me, you're going to get this problem. But so yeah, as long as you cook it or dry it, it's deactivated. And people used to eat this, not that long ago, actually. You can meet people who are in their 80s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. And oh yeah, we also always used to cut spring nettle because it was one of the first things we could get to and have some protein and vitamins and minerals before you could get vegetables in the grocery store whenever you wanted.
Cool stuff. So yeah, you can make soup, it sounds like, Alicia. Vanessa's just saying there's a little delay on the Facebook comments. So she's saying, oh, I need that. What is it called that you're taking, Sarah? So Vanessa probably wants to punch someone in the throat too. So
blue vervain.
Blue vervain, yeah. But like Erin says, do not take more than what it says on that bottle. And there is a reason for it, because it is, if you get the gag reflex will be activated with that sucker. So Adelina asks, can she use vodka for tinctures?
Oh yeah, exactly. That's as long as it's, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, the standard recommendation is to use 100 proof of alcohol, which means it's got 50% alcohol and 50% water. But I know people who've used less proof, so 80 proof, 90 proof. You can use brandy, all sorts of different things. It's just the preservative effect of it. The higher proof, the more preservative effect it has. So I know a lot of tinctures out there are quite high in alcohol content, just because of that preservative effect and things like that.
Yeah. So I don't know, Christina, this happened to me yesterday. My comments get cut off halfway on my phone, and when I try to read them, it doesn't let me. So I know Christina had recently made a tincture of motherwort and passion flower for her husband's anxiety and heart palpitations, which I think you saw, Erin.
Yep.
Christina, I don't know. It says I and then ... So I don't know if you had a question to go with that. If you did, if you could type out the second half, then I can read the question, unless it shows up on my Facebook. But oh no, it is over here. Okay, so I only let it sit for 2 weeks. Is it 2 week? Is it 2 week? And she used a high proof alcohol. So what do you think, Erin? Like, how long does it need to sit for?
Well, usually if 4 weeks is typical, but 2 weeks, did she use fresh or dried? Did she say?
I'm trying to, off the top of my head, I think the picture looked fresh, but I don't want to answer for it because she didn't say it.
It's probably weaker than most tinctures, but it will still work. It's just that you might notice you have to take a little bit more. Just keep in mind that if you ever buy motherwort or passion flower tincture, it's probably going to be stronger than your remedy that you made, because it just didn't sit that long. So that's the only thing. So if you get used to taking a couple dropperfuls or whatever it is you found is working, just be aware that other brands that you take might be a little stronger.
And so she said that she did use dried. I remember in the picture it looked so green. So she used dried, and the book that she used said 10 to 14 days.
Yeah, you'll still get some in there. It's just probably not as strong as it could be.
So Erin wrote a book, how to learn a learning herbalism workbook, actually, which is really cool. And I have the ebook version. I have all my like pages printed out and stuff. And what's really cool is that she walks you through like learning the different medicinal properties and what, there it is, and what it looks like, and like, I don't know, all this goodness to have you actually learn herbalism. And I think like a lot of us, we want to be able to head to our like cabinet and open up to all these herbs and be like, oh yeah, you need this and this and a pinch of this and a pinch of that. And to do that though, what we need is to actually learn herbalism and learn about the herbs, and not just be like, searching random things on Pinterest like so many of us do. What your book, Erin, like what kinds of things are covered in there?
Well, I definitely talk about how to make a plant profile. So if you find a recipe for a tea, and let's say it's got 3 plants in it, well, you could make a plant profile for each plant. So you would you would find some sources and learn about what these things are. If there's any contraindications, which means is there anything that you shouldn't take it for? Like motherwort, you should not take it if you're pregnant because it can actually start up things when you don't too early. It can put people into a labor. So there's like some things that you shouldn't take during certain times and when you're on certain medications. So it just talks about all the kind of the basic set of information you want to look up for that herb. And then it talks about like what an herbal action is, what an indication is. It gives you worksheets to organize all that information. And also the kind of big message hopefully is in the workbook and on my courses is that to study the herbs that make sense to you, like that for ailments and things that are going to work for your life. There's no need to study every single thing in the whole world, although that's probably my goal.
Especially if it's like some rare herb in some other part of the world that you're like never going to get where you are. And, like it doesn't make sense to spend your time on. Which is what I love too about Erin is that some of you knows about me and some of you watching are newer here because we have like a bunch of new people join the group every day. So I actually have my master's in education and went to school to be a teacher and taught high school for a little bit and like all sorts of things. But I love that Erin actually like she breaks it down like a teacher and gives you the steps so that you actually learn. She's not just like, here's 100 pages about chamomile, go have fun. She's like, no, like you need to learn about chamomile and how you're going to use chamomile in your life and make it amazing, which I think is like the best way to teach something is to actually give people the tools to learn the things they need to learn. And that's what you do. So many people are like, yes, I want her book. So Erin also has a course and I can actually show you, I'm going to screen share and show you what it looks like. How do I screen share? Oh, here it is. Okay. So she has a course and I'm showing you guys this because it's back to school time and send those children to school unless you're like me and they're too little and you just have to suffer through for a couple more years. Oh, look, that's our Facebook. But send those children away to school somewhere and then you can go back to school yourself. And here it is. So I think I know Erin can probably see it. So her learning herbalism toolkit she has, and it comes, right, Erin? I see over here on the right with the PDF version.
Yep, you get the digital version of the workbook, and then all the digital worksheets are broken out into their separate files as well.
Yeah, so you get a whole lesson on how to learn herbalism. These added webinars, medicinal trees and shrubs, which I think is one of Erin's, like you do workshops live on that too. So I think it's one of your like really things that you're like amazing at. Gardening by the moon, plant identification, harvesting and drying herbs. And so there's all of these lessons in addition to the printable version of her workbook, which I think is great because you can print the worksheets over and over and over again. Getting started with plants, what exactly is plant spirit medicine, how to track learning progress, the difference between herbal actions and herbal indications, all of this amazing stuff that like teaching you how to learn herbalism, like how to use plants and recipes, how to organize which plant recipes you want to try, experiencing plant spirit medicine, which is also why I love Erin, because she's our own, like my witch sister halfway across the country. Teaching the witch things. So how to move beyond just using plants and recipes, 15 suggestions for fun ways to interact with plants, which are like the live videos I love to catch with Erin when she's outside, like gently touching these plants. And I'm like, how do you even know? I don't even know. I see things and I'm like, my kid wants to touch it. And I'm like, I don't know. Is it poison? Is it not? I need to do more of my learning herbalism. Anyway, so Erin has this really cool class, and it's the toolkit that she has, and it comes with the printable version of her learning herbalism workbook. And Stephanie's in the comments saying that the e-course is excellent. Yeah, I have the e-course myself too, which is why I have like printouts. I know you guys can only see me like in a small little corner, but I have the printouts of mine. And then Erin, so with back to school going on, Erin and I have a really special offer for you. If you want to sign up for her learning herbalism toolkit, she's also giving you her Herbal Book of Shadows toolkit, which is normally $25 for free. And I'm throwing in our everyday magic class, which is a full Sisters Enchanted class for free. And if you already have everyday magic and want to take up Erin's deal, I will throw in any of our classes that are an equivalent, like our chakra class or our moon magic class, which would be really cool with your gardening by the moon too. So if you guys want to sign up for Erin's learning herbalism toolkit, which is like all of this really cool stuff, and then if you sign up through Friday, you'll get her Herbal Book of Shadows situation too, which I think is like different printables, right, Erin, where you can like pick, there's like different themes, like what theme you would like for your pages. And then you'll get one of my classes that are about, so you get the everyday magic class. If you already have that, just let me know and I'll hook you up with something else. But I'll give you that for free with Erin's class through Friday as like a really cool back to school situation. So yes, I will put the links. I'm going to put the links in the description of this and in the comments. People are asking for the links. And it's a little confusing because I'm going to give you the link about Erin's class and then like how to purchase it link. And then if you want to see what my free class is, that's a whole other link. So I didn't have a really good way of compressing it all, but it's a really awesome opportunity to get your magic on and learn herbalism at the same time. What's your favorite part, Erin, of your toolkit? Like, what do you think is the most awesome thing about it? I think it's just awesome because it is so important, because everybody can buy a book about herbalism, but that does not make you actually learn herbalism.
Yeah, as far as I know, there's nothing like it out there in terms of like a step-by-step workbook. And I wrote it with that in mind because I thought, what would I like to have had when I was studying herbalism? And I always just wanted to have like sheets that I could just fill out, like put this here, because that's way more doable than like, hey, here's a book. Let's read it. Like that's not easy. So, and then I put some stuff in there about kind of like study guide or study techniques and strategies and how to keep yourself from being overwhelmed. Kind of some mindset stuff is in there too. And then the Herbal Book of Shadows, it's a plant profile like templates and in different styles, like fairies on one and witch on another one. And I also have spring, some of the printables for planning the equinox and solstice celebrations. And I'm actually keep adding stuff to the Herbal Book of Shadows templates and also to the Learning Herbalism Toolkit. So if you sign up for it and I add stuff to it or run another live class, like you get all that. You get stuff that I keep adding.
Yeah, and like Stephanie said, I don't know if Ellie's still here, but Stephanie and Ellie are both in Erin's awesomeness. Stephanie's saying right now, I love the pages to write what you feel is important for the herb or the shrub. Yeah, they're both in there, and Erin has a bunch of cool stuff happening all the time, but she does always put on like new, exciting, like different live workshops and things like that. Like you've got a couple coming up soon as well. So, and like I said, this is just some of my printables. My printer was running out of ink, so I you can't even see all of them. But
and the other thing, can I just quick mention, is there are some people who can't print or who actually don't have the physical capability to do a lot of nice writing. And they've said that they really love my the digital downloads, because you can actually download the worksheets and the templates and then save as. So you could have like 100 different versions of the plant profile, one on chamomile, one on lemon balm, so that you don't have to print things out all the time. You could actually type in these worksheets.
Yeah, Erin's got one up on me in her digital game on this, because she makes all of her digital things fillable online. So you can type in there on them, which is super cool, because you can save it all and have a digital herbal book of shadows, or digital herbal, like whatever you want to call it for your thing, which I think is, especially now, like so many people don't, we all have technology, right? So you always have your phone. So if you're typing in it and then you save it, like, I don't know, I use Google for everything, but like on your Google Drive or something, and then you find yourself at whatever natural food store and they've got all their bulk herbs, or you like happen to see like, I get the Mountain Rose Herbs emails, right? And it's like the September specials, and you don't have to go looking for your whole binder. It's right there on your phone if you typed it in, and then you can just pull it up and be like, oh, do I need this? What's it good for? I learned about this, or I don't know this one. I want to learn about it. And you can just make a note, and then you have it, which I think is really super duper handy and amazing, and really cool that you take the extra step to make them fillable, because it's definitely an extra step that I don't do.
Yeah, it's sometimes there's a few things in there that don't get a digital component, digital download, are fillable. But I usually put that next to something. If it's like not fillable, then I'll say that, so people don't like wonder like, why isn't this thing working?
Yeah. So does anybody have any last minute questions for Erin about like learning herbalism, or like a quick herb that you should learn, or about her journey in learning herbalism? Erin is the real deal, you guys. She just like up until recently was working in like a sciencey like muggle job, and so she brings the like real knowledge to plants and medicine and the earth, and what's good for growing plants and the earth at large and ecosystems, and what's not. And so you're not going to find Erin giving you some random opinion pulled out of thin air about like over harvesting, or like not using this or that chemical or whatever. Like, she has a very educated background when she speaks about this stuff, which I think is really super cool. Oh, Charlotte's asking, do we need to put in a coupon code for the book or Herbal Shadows or anything? Oh, the stinking comments keep getting cut off. Also, Sarah, how do we let you know that we purchase? It's just easier to message you. I put in a special link. I don't think that there's a way to purchase on the page. I think you have to use the link that I put, because I checked it. But there's a link there. Just use that link, and then Erin will set you up with me. So you don't need to message me or anything. And she will. Messages to me get lost in my message box. So just if you sign up, Erin will get your details to me, and we'll get you hooked up. So we do have a couple of questions. Oh, and Ellie's saying definitely the best ever purchase of the last few years, next to Sisters Enchanted. But you know what? I think this is a testament to Erin, because with the Sisters Enchanted courses, I have a lot of students that come back and they participate in everything, right? And I actually had a student not too long ago email me, and she was like, Sarah, I really want to sign up for this thing, but I really want to sign up for Erin's thing. I'm going to sign up for Erin's thing. I just wanted to tell you that I'm going to sign up for your thing next time, but I just have to take up Erin. And I was like, no, yes, sign up for Erin's thing. I would also, because she's awesome. Like, do it. So yes, sign up for Erin's things. So there are, let's see. So I'll rapid fire you some questions, Erin, before I let you go for the day. Okay. Herbs that grow well indoors.
Ooh, I always hesitate on that, because most herbs don't grow well indoors unless you have like a super intense south facing window. But if you have a winter, you're going to have to use some supplemental lighting, and any kind of like even shop lights, you know, those big long shop lights, those can give enough light to help plants grow, but you got to kind of keep them close enough so that they can get that light. Also, just going to stretch and get really spindly. But rosemary can be brought inside if you give that supplemental lighting, and you got to spritz it. You got to keep it like moist. It's used to being sprayed on by the seawater. So that's probably, you're gonna have to bring supplemental lighting in.
Ellie's saying basil too.
I think basil, yeah, basil can. I'm just always thinking of the winter and how like they get really stringy. Like they'll get this long stem and then some leaves and long stem. But yeah, a lot of things will live in the house. They just might not look so good through the winter.
It's like what all plants look like death is upon them. I'm trying so hard. Let's see here. If you could only choose one herb to have and use, what would it be?
Nettle.
Nettle, make some nettle soup. Michelle's says thyroid question mark. So do you got any?
Oh yeah, there is. So thyroid, just briefly, is such a complex system, because to me, thyroid issues indicate something else going on in the body. It's almost like a warning signal, like, you know, shit's going down. So unless of course, like you have I have a family member who was born with half a thyroid. But there is there's 2 thyroid support tinctures on Herb Farm. So they have like about 3 to 4 herbs mixed into the thyroid mixes. Some people's thyroid goes too high and some people's thyroid goes too low. And I believe they have one for each of those. So that's kind of like your safe all around go-to for herbs for thyroid is those. Otherwise, you know, then I have to start being like, well, are you on meds? And there might be some interactions, but I think that the support for thyroid would go well with those things on Herb Farm.
Let's see here. A good herb for gas and stomach.
Oh, there's a lot of them actually. Peppermint and catnip. Catnip is really good for the stomach, especially for kids. But peppermint and catnip would be a go-to. And then I would also start wondering about like needing to add probiotics into that too.
Alexa's asking about the cost in pounds of the course. Alexa, it's less than US dollars. So I would just Google it because it changes. Exchange rates always change. Let's see here. It's good for skin fungal infections.
Ooh, so yeah, black walnut. I make a black walnut salve. So, and golden seal, any kind of salve with that in it is really effective.
Cool stuff. Emma Smallbone, Emma's here. Emma's asking, how do black-thumbed witches bring herbalism into their lives? I'm a black-thumbed witch.
You just buy your products already made. You don't have to grow things. It's okay. I'm just giving you permission. It's okay.
I buy my herbs. I just I'm trying to keep 2 plants alive at my house right now. It's just not going well. Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy them already dried. If we want to see green growing things, just take walks and visit greenhouses, I think.
Visit the plants in their natural environment. So let's see here. And this is going to be the last one I'm going to ask. Vanessa's asking, oh, okay, 2 more. These are the last 2. Herbs for acid reflux and then herbs for eczema.
Herbs for eczema. 4 Elements Herb Farm makes a really good salve with wood violet in it, just wood violet leaf in it. So that's what I would suggest off the top of my head. There's a lot of other things that help soothe the skin, like calendula and things like that. And then what was the other one you just asked for?
Acid reflux.
Acid reflux. Marshmallow root, slippery elm bark. And there's another one that's at the top of my head, but I can't think of it right now. I can't think of it right now.
She was better than I would have given you. So you're already winning. All right. Yeah, Emma can't keep a plant alive to save her life. I'm right there with you. I have 2 plants right now that I tried to save by, was it called germinating them in water, right? Or something. And my mother was over my house and I was like, so what do I do with them now? I don't even know. I'm so afraid to try to put them in soil again because I'm like, they were dying there before, maybe I'll just let them live in the water for as long as
Hey, if they look good in the water, I'd leave them in the water.
maybe they're like flourishing in water, but
So I'll give your viewers a quick secret. I am working on something for next year. It's either going to be green goddess gardening or green witch gardening. I can't decide which, but it's going to be like a e-course about how to garden, just garden everything, just take care of plants, like how much water should I put on them and how much whatever.
yeah, I keep wanting to plant an herb spiral. I keep seeing those everywhere.
I've made a couple of those. Yeah,
there's one at our local one of the state parks near us. It's actually like, I live on the like by the ocean, and but they have this like butterfly garden situation, and they have one in there. And so I go and hang out with theirs because I'm like, I'm probably gonna kill it. But I so desperately like want to put one in my my yard. So anyway, that's a random tangent. Okay. Ellie's saying need. It's Erin, so I need this course. Yes, make that one. I'll take it too, because well, I'll take it, and then you'll have to like pressure me to act on it to actually. But,
yes. I'll say I'm gonna fly to your house and make you do it out.
Yeah, I know. Except we'll actually get in our car and escape from our children. Is what we'll actually do. Anyway, all right, guys. So if you guys have any questions for Erin, she's in this group. She's in the group, and so you can always tag her if you have any questions about her course. And I know she'd love to see you on the inside, and I'd love to see you in the Everyday Magic class, or if you already have it, just let me know in any of those classes. So if you sign up for her toolkit by the end of Friday, you're going to get the bonus Herbal Book of Shadows from Erin, and also a course from me. So it's like it's a really smoking hot deal for back to school season. Treat yourself. Your kids are going to school. You should too. All right. Well, I guess I'll let you go, Erin. When I end it, I'm going to end it so I'll lose you too. But thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Erin, like I said, Erin's in the group. So if you have questions about anything, just give her a shout, and you can find her on Facebook at Full Circle Herbals, right?
Yep.
And yeah, awesome. All right, Erin, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.